Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and as you probably know I'm the airline pilot. I fly Boeing 737 NG for one of the major carriers here in Ukraine International Airlines. And welcome to the podcast. Today we're gonna speak about the aviation industry, but not in a world, because in a world aviation industry is recovering after the COVID, but we're gonna speak about the aviation industry in Russia and how it suffers because of the Western sanctions and what are the prospects for Russia aviation. Let's go. I have some of the photos here. By the way, I tried to search. Yeah, the Aeroflot custom-made advertisement. Those are Cyrillic letters and Russian language I can translate as you can still use pedals. And I found this picture as well. Kind of meme, but I'll just skip this one. Okay, we're gonna speak about the Russian aviation. First of all, sanctions applied for Russian aviation very fast, my friends. I had some of the mates there who fly in Russian airlines. At least before we used to speak, but now we lost communication because of the obvious reason. They do not support Russian war, they say, but they do not do any kind of actions to prevent. I'm 100% sure they voted for Putin before, so I do not support them anymore. I just cut communication with those pilots. But I saw the posts of those guys in Instagram. Then Instagram was free in Russia. It wasn't blocked. Now it's blocked. They say like, we are forbidden to go even for the flight simulator training. As an active airline pilots, we should go for our recurrence trainings and checks at least twice a year. And for that, we need to have the international approved flight simulator together with the approved flight instructor and examiner, and the flight simulator got the approval from particular aviation authority where it was produced before. All the documents were sent to Russian aviation authority and they say, okay, we approved for our pilots to be trained on that simulator, but the designer of the flight simulator may anytime he or she wants to recall those papers. So that is what they did. They recall of the papers from the flight simulators. They say they are not approved for the proper training of the pilots in Russia. So now we see that all of the training facilities in Russia are banned from the global ICAO system. ICAO is the International Aviation Organization that is part of United Nations, and because of ICAO we have the regulations all around the world that actually prescribes us how to fly the airplanes, where to fly, navigation, communication, engineering, aircraft design, airlines, airports, procedures. Everything of that goes from ICAO. So ICAO has many of the documents, so you need to follow the prescribed document. And what they did, they say no more training is certified for the Russian simulators. Actually, yeah, not the Russian simulators, but they took them from abroad. So for pilot training, they are not certified if we speak about the global world, but the Rosaviation, so their own aviation authority, issued their own directive that we are okay with that, so we're just gonna use the flight simulators with any kind of papers. We'll write our own paper. This training is valid, but if you will go to other country, for example, I want to get out from Russia and I want to fly somewhere else in Emirates. I don't like Putin. I want to just flee the country. So my previous training will not be certified. So for them, it will be like pirate flying that I did in Russia, not qualified. So we see, yeah, if you are a pilot in Russia, you are just doomed. The second thing goes with the airplanes. Actually, most of the airplanes of Russia, they're registered in Bermudian. I don't know why, but maybe they pay less for registration, etc. So Bermudian actually cancel all the registrations of Russian airplanes, and the leasing companies that own the airplanes, because it's very hard for the airline to purchase the airplane. So usually they take them in rent, that calls leasing. So there are two major leasing companies that are mostly in Europe, and they lease totally around 500 up to 600 planes towards the Russian airlines, any kind of Aeroflot, S7, different. And those leasing companies said, we don't need our airplanes to stay in Russia because Bermuda canceled registration. We are not allowing for the airplanes to fly there, because it's total unsafe. If we lose the registration, we lose the airworthiness as well. And also they lost actually everything, the support of the documents, the support of the parts. So new parts officially cannot be sold in Russia for the airplanes, not only sold but delivered. And we have the software, so we have the history of the airplane. All of that history is in digital format. Everything was just lost. So now they are going through their paperwork with the paper documents that should be also updated, but no one will bring them updates, so it's totally unsafe now to fly in Russia. And that is why those leasing companies said, we need our airplanes back, we'll lease them to somewhere else, to European airlines, to South America, elsewhere. We need our planes. And Russia said, not, we are not gonna give you your planes because they are ours. It's crazy, that's crazy. So basically they just stole the airplanes. So what would they do with them? Because they don't have the spare parts. Actually, they will just cannibalize the airplanes. They will, put on a stand some of the planes. If something just breaks down, they will take the part from the airplanes in the parking spot. They'll put it in other airplane. It will fly for some time, but finally there is some kind of maintenance that requires a change of filters or something. So you don't have those. So very soon, I think in 6 months or something, we'll see most of the airplanes in Russia grounded because of the technical issues. The same story goes with Iran, but somehow they managed to get the spare parts from the third countries. I don't know whether it would be possible for Russia. Now it's not possible, my friends. Even China, they say no, we're not gonna transfer you the parts from the Europe because we will be under the sanctions as well. We need to protect our market. So it's the big issue now with the spare parts for the airplanes. But you may say they have lots of Soviet-made airplanes, and you're right, but they were mostly abandoned. They were on a scrap yard somewhere. Maintenance procedures for those old Soviet airplanes were not done, so why should you do it if you have brand new Boeings and Airbuses? And no one would think in their nightmares about they should return for that old scrap airplanes. Actually, some of the airlines were able to restore some of the Soviet-made planes, like UTair restored the Yakovlev 42 with the Ukrainian-made engines D36. I think those also will be in lack of the spare parts. So I don't see the future for any kind of Russian airlines. Here in Ukraine, even now, in the middle of the war, I would say that we have a future. We have just a few airports that survived this Russian attack. But I would say we have more future compared to Russians. The airspace is closed for most of the Russian airlines to enter Europe, for all of Russian airlines. Europe, Canada, United States, and I expect around 80% of the commercial pilots there would just lose their job. Of course, Russia is big and they still need the airplanes to fly from Moscow to Vladivostok, but soon we'll see that any plane is capable to fly that far. They'll fly like old Antonovs, Yakovlevs, and probably restore some of the Ilyushins and Tupolevs. Those vehicles were fantastic at their time in the Soviet Union, but now, after 30 years after the Soviet Union collapsed, we need modern, up-to-date, and more safe technologies. Tupolev 154 is just a garbage airplane. It has the worst safety record from all of the jet airplanes. That's crazy. Do I care about the Russian colleagues, the pilots who mostly will lose their job? Not really, my friends. They represent the country that attacked our country, and losing the job is incomparable with losing their life. So that is what their country is doing. They are attacking our country, civilian cities, and killing everyone. So I don't really care what is happening in Russia. I don't like the situation in general. I don't like that they started the war. I think it's the common responsibility for every Russian, because they live in democracy. They might have elected a different leader. They might have do they might have done something with that situation, but no, I see just mostly zombies there. According to Russian statistics, around 80% support this special operation of Putin. So yeah, I just don't care in that case, my friends. So we need to do our own job. We need to free our country, and that is what I'm doing here on my YouTube channel as well. I cannot fight because I don't have the military experience, so that is why I fight on a media front, let's say. And thank you as well for your kind support. If you want to help me, you can just press the like and subscribe to my channel. You also may support me on Patreon or PayPal. All the links I put in the video description just below, and part of the money I send for charity to support Ukrainian people. My friends, I wish you a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.